Welcome to the Voice of Football podcast. I'm Jack.
And I'm Matt.
And we're going to talk about some football and stuff. So we'll kick it off by going through the England selections for the friendlies coming up.
Yes, Gareth Southgate has just announced his squad today.
He has indeed. Last week we picked our England 11 that we thought should go to the World Cup. So we can do a little comparison, see where Gareth is completely wrong and where we're just spot on.
Where we're superior and why these people should be included. Yeah. I hope this isn't actually his squad before we, in a preliminary reading of it, I hope this actually isn't his squad that he's thinking of taking to the World Cup.
It can't be right, because it's just like...
It's Dyer, and not just Eric. It's,
Oh, wow, get the puns in early.
It's a bit young as well.
You got any more?
We'll get... They
No
show
pressure.
a lot of heart.
Okay.
Impress the Pope.
Impress the Pope? Is he a big fan of watching England?
I imagine not. Yeah, no one else is ends. Oh, they might rise? No, because that Rose is the past.
Oh,
Never
okay.
mind. I've ruined it now.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Okay.
But landed on my feet.
Let's stop.
land.
Let's stop for this now.
I've given away the game now as to who's been included.
What did you think? For our goalkeepers, we went with... you went for Pickford, right?
No, I went for Butland.
Butland. You went for Butland.
Mine was like a cross of like Hart and Butland, because Hart was the one I was like, I feel like he should be in the team because we've just had him for the last several years. But Butland's the one I think at the minute I'd actually take.
Yeah. I think I'd like to see Butland, at least like in the friendlies at least, I think he should play, right?
Yeah. I'd like to see what he can actually do for England, because I don't feel... He had that one game recently where he made a really big mistake, and everyone really picked up on it as well. They were like, Butland, why are you letting in a mistake sort of thing? But I feel like he's had a solid season. Apart from that, he is like, in goal for Stoke. So he's probably having some difficulties anyway. So I'd like to see how he could handle being in England. And it would be, if he is Southgate's first choice, or any of these keepers, to be honest, I'd want him to pick them for both friendlies.
Yeah.
To be like, get used to playing in the England team.
Yeah.
Because as you said in our last episode, you don't want to be switching goalkeepers through the tournament.
It's one of the things I hate most when you watch like an England friendly and they swap the keeper at half time.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is the point? 45 minutes, you're going to save like 2 shots.
Yeah,
And
doesn't
it's like,
mean anything, does it?
There's no point.
Of all people, the keeper, I feel like, isn't the one you swap over at half time to give a tryout.
Yeah.
Like, anyone else, I'm like, yeah, let's see what you do in that position and who you work well with. Whereas the keeper, I'm like, just put him in for the game.
Yeah.
Just leave it.
The interesting position that I thought, looking at this squad, was centre-back.
Yeah.
Because in ours, we both had Stones, and Stones is there. I think he'll play.
Yeah, Stones is fine.
But then they had a mix of some people who haven't either been called up or haven't played much at all. And I was like,
Because I picked Cahill and Smalling as my centre-backs.
as did I.
Yeah, and they've just been completely left out. I did see in the Sky Sports article, it was like, because, Cahill isn't even preferred for Chelsea anymore.
Yeah.
Which, if that's the case, which I didn't really realise, then I guess that's fair enough if he's not really playing. But, I mean, the people he has picked.
When you go to the World Cup as well, you're going to want someone like Cahill. As much as might be like, he doesn't play, like he's still 29, 30, like he's like...
Yeah.
He's got some experience. I don't know if I want, like...
I don't want Harry Maguire and James Tuchowski.
And Alfie Mawson. Like, they've played well, but, like... It's a bit like Michael Keane, like, last season, where people were like, oh my God, he's so good. And then he played for Everton. You're like, these are fine.
He's all right.
Like, he just had a lot of defending to do at Burnley. I feel like that's the thing.
Yeah.
When you play for Burnley, you have a lot of defending to do. And it sort
Maybe
of...
that's why that Jack Butler looks so good as well. Just in those teams, aren't they?
Sort of makes you look good when you're like, well, I made 5,000 blocks. And you're like, well, yeah, you didn't have the ball for any of the game, did you? It's just...
I do always think that about,
playing
like...
a brick wall.
I mean, there's De Gea, to be fair, who's pulling out all the saves, but I always think about... like Lloris or something, and he's like, oh yeah, he's got quite a lot of clean sheets. I'm like, that's because Alderweireld and Vertonghen are fucking on it. I'm like, he's not facing any shots.
Yeah, so I'm not sure about the centre-back. It'll be interesting to see him play.
I am surprised that, as you just said there, Michael Keane isn't one of those. Is he injured or something and I don't know about?
I think he's just been having a shocking season. I think him and Williams have been pretty terrible for Everton.
Yeah.
So I think he's kind of...
I suppose.
He's got like a shadow over him, and they're like, I don't know if I want to bring that to England.
It's interesting because, like, I mean, it's just a friendly. So at the same time, I'm like, yeah, go on, give these guys a chance. But we are now in the same season as the World Cup.
Yeah.
In the same year even, sorry. So I do kind of want him to be thinking about the World Cup.
Yeah.
So these players, I don't know. I'd have rather he took like a Cahill and Stones, and then the two, like, uncapped players.
Yeah.
So then you could. Those would be the people I'd switch at half time. You'd have Cahill, and then one of the uncapped players, and then you'd swap it. You'd have Stones and the other uncapped players. See what they do, like in the second half.
Yeah, I think in like most friendlies, I'm like, just play the best players and play the young players as well.
Yeah.
Whereas, like you said, when you're in like the World Cup year and it's like the international break before the World Cup,
Yeah.
I'm like, just play the team you're gonna play.
Play the team. Get the system. Like,
they always complain, don't they, that like, club managers, they get to spend so long with their players.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, it's your fucking fault, isn't it? When you pick like two of them and go, well, there you go. I'll get to see Lallana and I'll get to see Joe Hart, probably Dele Alli. Like the rest of them, I'm like, wait, yeah.
I kind of wish. I'm like, surely by now, I just wish he'd be like, this is my system. Why is every game like, let's try another chance to try this different system?
God. It does
just pick one now, because it's getting too close. It's going to become at the point of the World Cup, he's like, still don't know my best system, because he's tried every formation under the sun.
That's the main thing, actually. You've triggered me now, because that's the main thing that always annoys me about England, is you watch all these other countries and they all have like a philosophy and a way of playing, and I'm like, they pick the players that match that. And so sometimes some players don't play for their country because they just don't fit that mould.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Like, why can't we do that?
I don't know. I was just going to say, this is the point where, as much as I loved having, like, Roy Hodgson, Sam Allardyce, Gareth Southgate now, because they're English managers, I like that, because I'm like, we're England, we should have an English manager. But at the same time, I feel like not many English managers have a philosophy in the current like top tier of the game. Maybe this is why maybe I'd like to see somebody like Eddie Howe come in. Yeah. So I'm like, he knows his way he wants to play.
Yeah.
And I feel like he could do that with an England team. Whereas, if you got like a Pochettino or a Guardiola to manage the England team, that they have a philosophy.
The only like interesting thing actually, ironically, I think, is the only manager we've had recently who's had a philosophy was Sam Allardyce.
I was just going to say that would be the only one out of them.
He got himself sacked. So it's like you could see England going out and play. You wouldn't want to see it. You'd be like, ow, my eyes, they burn from the long balls.
The long balls.
Why?
He'd probably reinstate Peter Crouch and like...
So you don't want to see it, but at least you'd be like, well, this is how England play now.
Yeah, this is how we play.
I know not to bother watching.
And I feel a bit more like secured defensively, because he'd be like, right, this is my back four each game.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, yeah, that's them, cool, done. We're not going to concede many. But yeah, hit them on the counter-attack. I'd be fine with that.
What did you think about the other people making a fuss about Livermore being called up?
Yeah, I saw this. I mean, where is he currently? Hull?
West Brom?
Oh, West Brom. Yeah, of course.
They're having like a shocking run.
Yeah, they're not.
I was caught in two minds, because I was like, I don't mind, because he's sort of the spare player in there. I don't mind him being called up, but I could think of so many other players that I was like, really? Like,
I mean, my biggest
gets
problem,
to
more
go.
than Livermore, I know everyone probably doesn't enjoy Livermore being in there, but Jordan Henderson and Adam Lallana. I mean, I picked my team last time specifically to avoid those two, and here they are in the actual international team, so just brilliant.
I mean, we're both in agreement there that when it, gets to World Cup day, I'm like, please, no. But you know that they're going to be
Oh, they're going to be there.
They're both going to be in the starting
Undoubtedly.
11, passing it sideways and
Yeah. I can't...
spraying their right for men everywhere.
I don't know where Adam Lallana would play. I presume, like, centre mid? I feel like he prefers to play centre attack in mid, and I feel like on his day, Ali would just be played there.
Yeah.
I
don't see a position that Lallana plays better than anyone else.
Yeah. Who would you
in that team?
pick then? Because my only two that I think I would pick in my team from last time would be Dyer and Ali, and they're both in the squad. So who would you have picked? Who was in your team?
I had to say, I didn't have anyone in my team that wasn't in the squad.
Right.
But I just thought if I was taking...
for someone like Jake Livermore.
Yeah, if I was taking the squad, I was like, Jake Livermore, I don't know if... To feel that kind of like, you might get a chance. Like Lewis Cook, I think is good.
Yeah, I like him.
But I feel like there was room for another player like that, who's like maybe going to get like 20 minutes at the end of a game.
Harry Winks?
Yeah, I would have taken, yeah.
Do you know what? To be
Winks.
fair, actually, I would take Harry Winks over Jake Livermore.
Like,
I don't know why.
I just don't understand. Like, Jake Livermore's not even Like he's like not even like new to England.
Yeah.
He's sort of like just faded out, and then they're like, "Oh, you can have a game," and you're like, "It's the same as." Sorry, carry on.
I was just going to say, do you know who I might have taken actually thinking about it now instead of that?
Yeah.
Because I think he's actually a decent player on his day when he plays well. Is John Joe Shelby?
Yeah.
I think he would have been an interesting call up, and if he's going to go with someone like Jake Livermore, which I didn't really expect. Yeah. Lewis Cook is kind of like, yeah, that's the you chuck that one in because he's young, get a bit of experience kind of one. Whereas Jake Livermore is like he's not that young anymore. He's kind of established, so he's like I don't even know what sort of choice he is, but if he's going to go for him, I would have gone for like John Joe Shelby, Harry Winks. Yeah. Something that's a bit more established than Livermore.
I don't understand. The other one I didn't understand was Welbeck. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be Kane, isn't it? Surely.
It is, but then I had the same thing where I was like, surely you can take like, I don't even know who's been playing, like a Solanke or someone. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he's not played like a million games, but I don't know, take him, play him for England. There must be like a young English striker that you can just be like, there you go, you can, like, we've got enough to fill a game out.
Admittedly, I think Welbeck would be my choice. As soon as Harry Kane was injured, I mean, you got Jamie Vardy in there. I think Welbeck would be the choice, mainly not because of how good he is, because I understand your point of like there would be a decent young English striker you'd also throw in, but I think I'd mainly pick him for his versatility, in that he could play striker and he could play left wing or something. Yeah. So like, you know, because you've got Rashford there as well. They could easily just swap it out. Yeah. They can, or if it's not going well in the game and they're already on the pitch, just put them in a completely different position, and they do all right. So I think I would have. I feel like it's more of a safe choice. I feel like Harry Kane got injured and he was like, "Who do you bring in?" Danny Welbeck. Yeah, it's kind of just standard.
I mean, to be fair to him, he usually plays reasonably well for England.
Yeah,
but it's like I feel like it's the same sort of thing as Livermore, where I feel like you send out a bit of an odd message to like everyone else who's wanting to be called up, where you're like, well, Welbeck, you get in because you've played for England a lot of times before. Even though you've been pretty shocking this season, you've had not like you haven't had game time. Before he's been like injured and had that excuse of being like, I've barely played. Yeah. Now it's like you've played quite a few games and you've still done literally nothing. Yeah. You've run around a lot, to be completely fair to you, but you've basically done literally nothing.
I was going to say again, in those kind of position, you could probably have Theo Walcott. Maybe he'd be as safe a bet.
As useless.
As useless. And then who else did I just think of? Theo Walcott, and then like Andros Townsend, if you want to be like, come on Andros, is now your time?
I feel like I would have... Who's the guy... I'm going to have to look it up now. The guy who plays for Bournemouth up front, Callum Wilson? I would have taken him. Do you know what I mean? I was sat here and I was like, it's taken me about 3 minutes and I've thought of about 4 other options. So Danny Welbeck...
I imagine Gareth Southgate took longer than that and thought of hundreds of options.
It doesn't seem like it. He just sits in the stands and watches like Leicester versus Hull and is like, oh, this is a good game, and lots of English players are all shit. Like, and then he goes to watch Chelsea and they've got one English player and he's like, well, this is nice. I get to see... Gareth Cahill's not playing.
He just turned up and he's like, oh, Gareth Cahill's not playing. Well, is that on my team sheet then?
Danny Drinkwater's going to get on for 20 minutes so he can take some notes then and be like, oh, I'm not going to pick you. Fuck you. So
what has happened to somebody like Phil Jones? He's just completely gone off it. Is he just constantly injured?
I think that meme went to his head. Like the picture of him with the really scared face?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's hundreds of them.
Yeah, I feel like that's really, like, hit him hard. I feel like now he's like, he can't go outside because he's like, what if I pull that face now? Like, what if I clear it for England and then I go like, ugh, and pull the face and everyone's like, oh no, what's happened to Phil?
You could wear, like, one of those weird masks and be like, oh yeah, I broke my nose. And be like, oh yeah, no, I just broke my nose. It's not me trying to cover up my face.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Phil.
No, I mean, I wasn't anyway, but, just, he hasn't been there for a couple of years now. I want to be like, what's up, Phil?
What's up, Philly?
What's happened to you? And then, I mean, in the attacking options, Raheem Sterling, Marcus Rashford, Jesse Lingard. Lingard was one of my picks, who I didn't actually think would get in. I thought there might be somebody else ahead of him. Not that I can think of anybody. I think I might have thought what you said, in that you would have played Rashford, where I would probably play Lingard. I feel like he might have gone for that option.
Lingard's played like a couple of England games before, isn't he? He's just... And actually, those are the ones I've seen him in and been like, really? Whereas recently, I've been like, oh, Jesse, that like little dance thing you do when you score is like really helping your football, isn't it?
I'm so unsure about Jamie Vardy. Like, he won the league title the year before last.
Yeah, how many league titles has Harry Kane won, huh?
Okay.
Yeah, Jamie Vardy is the best England striker we have.
Yeah.
Who else has won a title? Huh? Who else?
Yeah, true.
No one.
Yeah.
The greatest footballer in that team. Joe Hart has won a title. That's it.
I mean, Cahill has as well, but he's not in that team.
Exactly. My point exactly. I've just made it up, but I love it. Vardy for England captain.
Who is in this team? I mean, Kyle Walker and John Stones are about to before we go to the World Cup.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
having some difficulty.
Ashley Young must have done, right? Man United. He's been there for several years now.
He doesn't count. He's a midfielder who plays at left back, so you disqualified.
I mean, yeah, that you are right. That is it for like our title winners.
Well, that's the Jamie Vardy conclusion done, isn't it?
But really, take away his title. Really, right. Jamie Vardy, he's quick.
Yeah, he's not very good.
No, I mean, you take Mahrez away from him. I don't think he does anything.
Yeah, I feel like he's
you take away the counter attacking. I
feel like he's the same as Welbeck in they run a lot, and you're like, oh, that's sweet,
sweet.
But could you score a goal? Or make a chance, and they're like, nah, but I can close down, and you're like, that. Yeah, I appreciate. You don't want to take it. You don't want to discourage them. It's like when a little kid's almost done something right, and you're like, oh, Timmy, that's so good.
That's so good.
Next time, could you just do this? And they're like, nah. I'm
going to keep doing this.
Yeah,
I'm
just going to keep closing down. I love pressing Gareth, and Gareth's like, nah.
Just honestly, just hit the ball long. I will run for it.
What about the hold-up play? And he's like, nah, but I'd like to run though, Gareth. I love to. It's
I want to run.
Run, Forrest, run.
Run, Jamie, run.
Yeah, bless Gareth. Shall we move on?
Have we said we covered everybody? Jack Wilshere is in the team as well.
He is.
Which I put as my honourable mention. I think you actually put him in your proper team, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, so good to see him back in. I like him as another. I mean, please, just don't play Henderson or Lallana. Please play someone like Wilshere. Oxlade-Chamberlain is also in the team.
Yeah.
I mean, he's listed under midfielders, interestingly.
I mean, Dele Alli's listed under forward, so...
Yeah, but
we should discuss this in detail.
He's centre attacking mid, I can slightly see that. But I would have played Oxlade-Chamberlain on the wing, but the fact that he's a midfielder suggests he's battling for that centre mid role, along with Jordan Henderson and Lallana and Dyer. Cook, Livermore, Wilshere.
I don't.
We
said this last week.
Cringy midfield.
It's a cringy midfield. It's not a very safe midfield, isn't it?
Ashley Young as well.
It's
4 goalkeepers.
It seems like a lot, doesn't it?
Surely that's a waste of a it's 2 games. Do you need 4 goalkeepers? You need 3 max. Surely you have 2 that you might play 1 in each game.
I think,
and then 1 as an extra sub to be show me what you can do.
To be fair to him, I think what he needs, if he's like, look, I need to pick 4 goalkeepers, I'm not sure who. What they need to do is before the game they have the mascots out, on the pitch and stuff.
Yeah.
What they need to do is give all the 4 goalkeepers out, and then you have a battle royale fight to the death, and then whoever wins gets to play in goal. So that way you give the crowd some entertainment, and you've only lost 3 keepers you were never going to play anyway. So I think that's what Gareth's going for personally.
Because I feel like he's picked Joe Hart, Butland and Pickford because he can't actually choose who is going to be the number 1 out of those 3. For that screams of a indecisive pick from the 3 of them. He's like, any one of you could play. You need to all show me which one. And then Nick Pope's like, maybe you're the underdog that I need to come in and really show me how it's done and get rid of these older boys.
I mean, Gareth doesn't look like the kind of guy who makes quick decisions.
No,
there's something that you can tell in his aura. He's the kind of guy who's spreadsheets and shit, and he's like, "Oh, what's going on here?"
Yeah.
He just, I don't know. He gives off that Big Sam gives off the vibe he's never read a book in his life, and it's like, I like the football. I do the football.
I like the football. I've grown up with football. I watched football with my dad. I kicked the ball when I was younger.
Gareth's going back to his home in Sussex and is
Yeah,
like,
he's got like,
not sure
you know,
about
the
that.
new Football Manager game that brought in all like those data analysts and sports
Yeah,
scientists. He's got all of them on lock. He just goes into a boardroom and there's just all of them just around a table and he's like, right lads, and they're like, oh, in this one he's got an average run not distance of 11.6 kilometres per game. And he's like, on average, the England team only run 10.4 kilometres, so you need him to boost up your run distance each game. Yeah, I can see Southgate as that kind of guy.
Bless Gareth.
But
It's a sweet
yeah,
one.
I just, Nick Pope, I like you, but Harry Winks could have had that spot.
You really want Harry Winks in that team? But...
Nah, we're overpacked with midfielders. I'd rather Winks and Henderson. In fact, take Henderson and Lallana out and just put Winks in. I prefer that. Interestingly, whilst we're on the England theme,
yes,
because you actually brought up a very interesting possible selection. I think it was your honourable one. Was Ryan Sessegnon.
Yes.
And there was discussion about the fact that he hasn't been called up for the senior squad, but he has been picked for the under-21 squad, which is progress.
Yes.
But I think I'm with you in that I would have quite liked to have seen somebody like him come into the team.
Yeah.
That's something a bit different.
I think, it's still impressive for a guy who's 17 to be playing in the under-21s.
It is, yeah. It's his first under-21 as well.
So, I don't have a problem with it, but I think, like, the same thing we said, if you're going to pick a load of other players who aren't going to the World Cup, why not pick another young player who's not going to the World Cup? Like, what makes him different to everyone else?
Yeah. I do like as well, I've just literally clicked on the Sky Sports article about him being called up to the under-21 squad. And I think last week I was like, oh, Ryan Sessegnon, like little Gareth Bale? Little Gareth Bale?
Yeah.
And then under his little picture, there's a caption that says, Fulham's Ryan Sessegnon has drawn comparisons with Gareth Bale.
Oh.
So someone who wrote this, it doesn't say who wrote this, but he must be a avid listener of the Voice of Football podcast.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's probably Gwilym Blake. He tunes in every week so that he can find out what his rumour's going to be next week.
That's true. This would be a good place, just like...
Neymar's going to Real Madrid. Shh, don't tell anyone, Gwilym. Tell everyone.
Neymar wants a more competitive club. He's told me himself.
He's going back to Barcelona, he told his friend. Who knows, it could be all of those or none of them. Who cares? Gwilym's made his money, he's done. He's off to an island in, like, Mexico or something.
So, moving on into general news, I guess.
Yep. General news.
Is that your, little...
Yeah, that's the little jingle for general news.
The jingle for this segment of the show.
Yep.
Pochettino has come out and said, well, Spurs will not buy trophies.
Okay.
So, opening the discussion up.
Couldn't buy him for love nor money, apparently.
I mean, Manchester City would buy them before we could anyway.
I mean, yeah, they...
Even if we were like, FA, £40 million for the FA Cup. Man City would easily match it, so I don't quite know what he's talking about. But
you can get them just down like a local sports shop, though, can't you?
I was going to say, can't you? There's just shops everywhere. You can get it like engraved as well.
I think I got like a man of the match one sometime. I was pretty proud of that when I was like 7. I went to someone's like birthday party and was like, "Sweet man of the match, let's go."
I was going to say, yeah, I used to go to like a little football club on like a Saturday thing, and you had like a mini tournament at the end, and the winners of that got a big trophy. I mean, literally everyone got a trophy.
Yeah.
I never, the team I was in always came last. I'm not quite sure why. So I've got all these little trophies at the minute
that just say last.
It just says like. It says
sixth place.
It says the camp's name and then like Easter holiday or something. It doesn't say winner or anything. Just like participation.
Yeah, you could just get Poch. You could just buy one of those. That just says Premier League.
Just hand it around.
Next time he goes to a press conference, they're like, "Spurs haven't won any trophies." He's like, "Excuse me.
Excuse me.
This one says Premier League on it."
I wouldn't be surprised if soon they start taking in like the fans' choice awards or whatever it is that they do each year. Like Harry Kane's like, "Oh yeah, I was the fans' choice for 2016."
Yeah, Pochettino's like, "Look, I've won Best Manager award for Tottenham 2018." Anyway, sorry, you were about to say.
Yes,
Spurs aren't going to buy trophies.
Yeah, so he's come out with this point that what we're doing currently in this whole project that he keeps calling it.
Okay.
Likes to keep calling it. Apologies. Is more important than just splashing a load of money and winning trophies that way, because it must mean more or something.
Okay.
I mean, I just want a trophy. I don't care how we do it. You know, all this diving stuff that's going on, I'm down for that right now if it gets us a trophy. But yeah, my main issue with this is I constantly keep seeing how people are like, oh, we're still a young team, and everyone keeps saying that for the last couple of years, and I'm like, Vertonghen and Alderweireld aren't that young anymore. Lloris isn't that young.
Yeah,
we're not a young team anymore at the minute. Harry Kane, you know, he's getting older as well. He's like 24, 25 now. Dele Alli is young.
Yeah,
he's actually young. But everyone constantly is like, oh yeah, we're building a project. Oh yeah, we've got a new stadium coming. It's a project, and oh, we've got this young team. I'm like, no, we haven't. Like, we're there now. We do it now.
I think part of the problem is as well is like when all the money came into football, Arsenal got away with it because we were the first ones to use that excuse. We got in there early and we were like, lads, we're building a stadium. Sorry, can't compete right now. Busy building a stadium, and now we've used up that excuse.
Yeah.
So now when Poch says it, it's like, oh yeah, well everyone says that. Like, if he was the first in the door, you'd be like, fair play, Poch, you're building a stadium, mate. Because now Arsenal fans are like, wait a minute, we built this stadium and we paid for it.
Stadium. Sorry,
yeah, they're also like that. But they're like, we paid for it and we have the money, but where did the competing go? Like, somewhere we lost the good team in all this. So I think maybe it's like, I understand the sentiment behind it, but I feel like it's not like, if you had a PR guy, you wouldn't say that. You'd be like, Poch, don't tell them about the stadium, don't tell them about a project, don't tell them about anything, just carry on. Just like,
I feel like it is the perfect thing to say though, isn't it? Like, he's probably sitting there like, oh my God, I wish Levy would just give me 200 million to spend, but he's like, oh, I better go out and say, no, don't need the money. It's all about the project we're developing here, and it's about playing the right way, playing good football. The thing is, obviously there's a huge discussion with players' wages and everything, because that's all like constantly, why hasn't Toby Alderweireld got a contract? I think we said in one of our very first episodes of this podcast, which was like a month and a bit ago now.
That is one of those things that's going to come back. In like 6 months, we're going to be able to go back and be like, the first episode of this podcast, you all heard it, Toby gets a new contract.
Yeah.
And now they're going to be like, oh, look, Alderweireld's gone to like Man United. And everyone's like, whoa, oh my God. And you're like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Told you, Poch.
Yeah,
Listen.
we should just, nailed him down.
Mauricio. Anyway.
Yeah, so like, that is a whole point in its own, because that's like, oh yeah, we don't have the spending money for that. Apparently not anyway. But we do, I don't mind what we're actually doing in the transfer market. I mean, like Davinson Sanchez, or whatever we just bought, 40 million, like, that's fine by me in terms of spending. I'm not expecting, I don't like the idea, although I'm criticising Potter for being like, oh yeah, no, you've got to play the right way, you can't buy trophies. I don't like that Man City do go out with 200, and Man United don't like go out with 200 million, like, yeah, I'm going to buy all these players. I like what we're doing, in that we're clearly picking the people Pochettino likes. 40 million, that's still a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's not like we're not buying anyone at all. We're still spending a fair bit of money on these people. So I don't think it's very fair, the criticism that we're not. It's because we're not spending as much as those teams, but it doesn't mean we're not spending.
Yeah. I think it's interesting as well. Like, I heard some people saying that a lot of the time, the way to make a club successful and like make money and build like your status is to win trophies. So they were kind of arguing from their perspective. They were like, well, if you're Man City, you've basically made your club up there with the biggest from being nowhere. You might have pumped in like, oh God, it must be over like $1 billion now. Like, they must have spent like a lot of money.
Yeah.
But now you've probably got something that's going to, as football gets more popular, you're going to be up there with Man United, with PSG, with Real Madrid. Like, you've invested in it, and it's paid off because you keep winning trophies and you keep being successful. Like, if they win the Champions League this season, they could really push on. And you're like, is that worth it? Or is it... Because I understand what you mean from an Arsenal perspective. I would prefer it to be slightly the other way, where you're like a little bit of... I like being a little bit of the underdog. I'm like, that makes me feel more comfortable than being like, oh yeah, we spent 300 million, because then you're like, oh my God, lads, you better win this game.
You better win it, yeah.
Like, you don't know the Twitter banner I'm going to get from you. Like, Jesus Christ. This is I've only got two excuses. I've got Arsene Wenger and we haven't spent any money. And if he goes and we spend money, my season's
you spent money on Aubameyang and Arsene Wenger goes, you've got nothing left.
I've got no
to complain about.
Jesus. So I know what you mean though. There's kind of a.
I mean, I think it's like. It's very interesting because I think I was sat there. I was actually playing FIFA the other day, and like on one of my like games, I've won like Champions League for several years in a row. Won the league several years, and then obviously you get a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I just go and buy like the Ronaldos, the Neymars, and everyone to make your team really good. And I was like, it's sort of credit and shows how hard that is because in a way, theoretically, you could have a team that. If you take, say, like Guardiola is the best manager in the world,
yeah.
You know, he has the spending power of Manchester City and he has his way that wins, like, trophies. That could just be the ultimate team in football.
Yeah.
And if they found the right blend, they could just have all the money to buy the best players from all the other clubs.
Yeah.
And the right way of playing that they just keep on winning and then they just win everything for, like, years and years and years.
Yeah.
But it just shows how difficult that is to do because I think theoretically that could happen. I don't know. I feel like Man City have more spending power than he's probably had at like Barcelona and things and Bayern Munich because of just how rich that club is. So that could be the setting for where he just buys the best players and they're like, oh, you're also winning the top trophies. And then you get the best players, you have all the money to buy the best players. You have the right way of playing and you've got the best players. You could just win several trophies. But that doesn't happen. So it's so difficult to do that I understand Pochettino that you can't, even if you did have all that money anyway, that doesn't guarantee success.
Yeah.
Like, so
it would be interesting because I think Real Madrid in like the early 2000s were winning they were winning their leagues, winning Champions Leagues.
Yeah.
Like, and don't get me wrong, they've won them recently as well, but like then I think there was a patch where there was Barcelona and they were the team. And I think to some extent they're still the team when you look at them now, even though like they might not win as convincingly or as like much as they used to. You're still like, you watch them against Chelsea and you're like, well, Chelsea are a pretty good team and they like just
smashed them.
There's like no point. And so it's like, it would be interesting, I think, to see Man City, like an English team, be in that position. Because I think maybe before we were born, Man United were there. But I think that Man United's brand is massive.
Yeah.
But I think, especially maybe in the last like 20 years, they've won like league titles. And they've won like a Champions League here or there, but they haven't like Barcelona
dominated it, yeah.
Real Madrid dominate, and it would be interesting to see if like Man City could actually like win the league 3 times in a row and win the Champions League twice.
Yeah,
and like because
then
you
a couple of FA Cups as well.
Yeah, then you'd be
it.
like, that's a special. Whereas at the moment, it's like they have so much potential.
Yeah.
But they have spent a lot of money. After like 4 seasons, eventually that money sort of levels out, and you're like, well, you haven't bought it now. You keep winning. We can't stop you winning. Like
I never understand it as well. The pundits and things are always so disappointed. Say, like, take the big 6 for an example. So, like, Man United, City, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Tottenham.
Yeah.
Like, the pundits are always disappointed in the other 5 that haven't won the league, and they're like, oh, they should be winning the league. And I'm like, well, there's fucking 6 of them. Yeah. They can't all win the league each year. Yeah. There's just one of them. So, like, they're always, oh, yeah, should be winning the league. I'm like, it's not possible. There's just one best team.
Yeah.
In that time, not all 6 teams are going to win every single game or draw level with the other 6 teams, and it's all just going to be a nice spread out. Oh, you've all come join, like, top.
Yeah.
You should all win the league. Like, it just doesn't happen.
No. And like you said, there's only even so many trophies outside of that. Yeah. You're like, one team can win the league, one team can win the FA Cup, and then you're like, well, one team can win the EFL Cup, I guess. Like, that still sort of counts. Yeah. And then you're like, one team can win the Champions League, and then they're not going to be in the Europa League as well as the Champions League. Yeah. So, like, even then, even if every team won a trophy, there's still 2 teams who haven't won anything, and one of them have only won the EFL Cup. Like, and you just have to tell them to go away. So, like you said, there's always going to be people being like, well, you haven't done this, you haven't...
Yeah.
Well,
but I don't understand how that argument works, because it should be like, oh, well, it's disappointing they haven't won the league, but then Man City are running away with it. You can't... There's just... They can't all win it, so I don't understand that argument when they come up with that. But I think you're right. It would be nice to see, as much as I would hate it, it would be interesting to see like a Guardiola stay at Man City for several years now, maybe finish his career there. Maybe this is where he finished. I don't know how old he is.
He's quite young. It's probably like 45, maybe.
I mean, where would you go though from there?
That might be too
when you've
young,
been at Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and then you're at Man City. What would you choose? You might go back to like Barcelona or something, somewhere you just actually support and like.
Would you do like the challenge on Football Manager where you go around each country?
Go around every country and win like the title
and
Champions League.
He's going to go to Italy or something, and then he's going to go to
he might go to
France
Italy or somewhere.
like,
to be fair, yeah.
I'm starting to run out of countries that play good football, lads. It's going to like Bulgaria next, and you're like, I guess I have to win the league and the Champions League.
Go to Belgium. I'm going to call out Belgium early here in the podcast.
Oh my god, every time.
Go to Belgium. Go manage Belgium national team. Get them to win something. Actually, maybe that's what he'd do. National team. He might go manage like Spain.
Yeah. I feel like he'd get bored. Anyway, we'll get off of Pep. But yeah.
I was just going to say, in general, with Pep, it would be interesting to see if he could make Man City dominate like he's done, and the teams he's been at have done in their history with Man City. If they could dominate the Premier League and European, I think that'd be very interesting. Because, I mean, Guillem came out with all of it. It's been kind of undone now. But he was saying how this is the time for English teams and how they're overtaking Spain and everything. I mean, Tottenham, Man United and Chelsea are now have just all been straight knocked out of the Champions League, and the Spanish teams are still in it. So, you know, that worked out well.
That's just Guillem.
It is Guillem, though, to be fair.
Back at it again with the great prediction work.
Yeah.
I can't wait for him when he's like, I'd bet my house on this. And I'm like, no, you wouldn't, Guillem. No, you wouldn't. You have 4 of them, so that's saying something.
Does he actually?
He must do. He's written so many books. Like, can you imagine the book money?
A book about Pochettino. I still don't understand that.
He's got a new book out every 2 minutes. He's like, I wrote a book about this, and there's a book about Messi, and about Ronaldo, and about Poch. I haven't written any of them. I don't believe he can write. Anyway,
I think it's opposable thumbs. Anyway, yeah.
Going back to the original topic, which was Tottenham, on a slightly different tangent, but somewhat related.
Yeah.
With Harry Kane being injured, is there a part of you that's like, I wish we'd spent like a little bit of money? Or are you like, why would you, like, Harry Kane is so good, what's the point in buying someone else?
I'll come at this from two-pronged approach.
Yeah.
I think it's the
Do
right phrase.
Do a pincer movement.
Yeah. I mean, people usually say three-pronged or something, don't they? But
yeah.
I've only chosen 2 because in my head, that's all I could think of. One is, firstly, we bought Llorente, who, at the beginning of the season, that looks like a very solid buy. It's only, as the season has progressed, you go, please score a shitty goal. Like, please just score. Like, even in, he scored against, Rochdale? That's clearly his level. So, at the beginning of the season, that, I think the spending money argument, I was like, that's fair.
Yeah.
We've got Llorente.
Right. That's
suitable. Actually Premier League proven, not like a Soldado or something weird. He's actually Premier League proven, did well at Swansea. So you can't, although Kane's got injured, you can't say he didn't plan for that, because he has. He just didn't see Llorente was going to be that bad, essentially.
Yeah.
And then my second point is, when you've got Harry Kane, how do you... I mean, this is something that the big clubs do, I guess, because they're just naturally so reputable that anybody wants to come. But when you've got somebody like Harry Kane, how many big players want to be like, yeah, I'll come, but I'll sit on the bench?
Yeah.
You're not going to attract somebody that's going to still get like 15, 20 goals a season and be happy to sit on the bench. I wouldn't... I think even if you did spend all the money, a lot of players, any ambitious players anyway, wouldn't be like... Yeah, they wouldn't want to come. I mean, there was that whole conversation, wasn't it? Pochettino came out recently and said that Morata didn't want to come.
Yeah.
But I mean, I never even heard the rumour about Morata originally, but he came out recently and said...
Gwynn Blake did.
Gwynn Blake predicted
He hears all the rumours. Even the ones you haven't said. He hears them. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake.
Oh my God, he's Father Christmas.
Yeah.
Secretly.
Giving out transfer rumours for days. So, are you worried that, with Harry Kane being injured, are you worried about Tottenham? Or are you like, nah, Hong-Min Son can do a job, Llorente can do a job, Lamella's back now. Are we like we're all good as a Tottenham? Because from the outside, I was like, oh shit,
yeah,
someone's going to need to score some. Like Heung-min Son's been doing work, but
I mean, I saw a very interesting thing recently because I hadn't fully considered it, but it kind of made me think about football in a different way. Was that Pochettino? I can't remember the exact words he said, but he talked about that position. He was like, not necessarily that actually what you're going to miss is Harry Kane, but you need to find somebody to replace in that position of your play, essentially. Which made me then go, actually, it's not just about the person, but actually your whole tactical approach.
Right.
You need to find somebody that suits that more.
Okay.
Which I was then like, that could technically be anyone.
Right.
Because then if you then like, oh, actually, Harry Kane just score goals by the fact that he's Harry Kane, but really it's, you know, the system that's working.
Yeah.
If you're like, oh, you know, Heung-min Son, you're running down there, and that opens up space for Harry Kane to shoot.
I hadn't necessarily thought about that actually.
No, but I can't. Give me a minute. I'll find the quote because it made me think like, whoa.
It's interesting.
Pochettino, what a genius.
I hadn't thought about that, but it does work. In like the most extreme example I can think of is like, you know how like Spain love like passing football.
Yeah.
And then you see them. What was it? Maybe not like the last World Cup, but the World Cup before that, when they played Fabregas as like a false nine.
Yes. Yeah.
And you're like, and it worked, not because Fabregas is a good striker, but because they passed the ball so much, it fit into what they needed a striker to do.
Yeah.
So I think, maybe that makes sense, that you can have someone who just fills the space that Harry Kane would, and tries to do the things he does as well as they can. Then you sort of fill that void, maybe.
Yeah. This is the exact quote that interested me.
Yeah.
Pochettino said, "For me, it's not most important who is in that position, but how you are going to use the space and try to overcome the tactics of the opponents."
Interesting.
Which I thought was a very interesting way of thinking about it. It's just not even like, Harry Kane's Harry Kane, but really what actually works is the tactics that I employ and that I put somebody there and tell him to do these things.
Do you think that's the answer he gave in front of the cameras? And then when he went through the door, he was like, ah!
I mean, the whole rest of the interview is like, Harry Kane is the best player in the world for me, blah, 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 he's going to be a big miss.
Is it like that meme of the dog sitting in the house that's on fire? And it's like, this is fine. This is fine.
I think it is exactly that, yeah.
No, I understand what you mean, though.
But it does interest me because you suddenly go, actually, I mean, it was a bit more comforting for a Tottenham fan, at least, that, you could play Son in that position, and then actually he's like, Son, can you play the way I tell Harry Kane to play? And then, you might get Lucas Moura on the other side that will suddenly start banging the goals in because, we're playing that same way. It allows the same space to open up.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So, I don't know. I mean, he's obviously going to be a big miss. You'd miss anybody that's as good as he is, technically. But, I think we work well enough in different ways. Yeah. I mean, he went off in the Bournemouth game at 1-0 down, and then we went on to win 4-1. He wasn't playing at all.
Yeah.
And I actually watched a good bit of, I think it was Match of the Day analysis, where they looked at the front three that then suddenly happened, which was Ali. I mean, they didn't even include Eriksen in it. He was just like the initiator of all three of them. Was like Son, Ali, and Lamela when Lamela came on for Kane.
Yeah.
And just the front three, they were just. It was a bit like watching Liverpool, I guess. It must be how Liverpool sort of feel when they see their front three of like Salah, Firmino, and like Mane or something.
Yeah.
There wasn't like a striker. There was like an interchangeable front three that were just so quick and so diverse. They were just like, oh, I'm over here now, and like, oh, we're going to crisscross. Oh, look at us, like sliding through the defence.
Yeah.
Which I feel like that movement doesn't happen so well, interestingly, when Kane is on the pitch. Because I feel like he's like a typical, like you knock the ball up to him, he's like, right, hold up play. And he's like the big, like bulldog striker.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And I think it might have been Danny Murphy that interestingly said it, that maybe why that worked in the Bournemouth game, to be fair, was because those defenders have probably been training all week, like, oh, we're going to face Harry Kane, this is how Harry Kane plays. And then he goes off on 30 minutes, and they're like, uh-oh. We've got no plan B to deal with, like, whatever attack we came up with. So,
yeah.
So that might not work now, because other teams will be going, well, they haven't got Harry Kane, they're going to play these people. But I did feel a bit sorry for Llorente when Harry Kane went off for Lamela, Llorente was just sitting on the bench. I was like, what does Llorente... Why have we spent this money on Llorente if Lamella comes on for Kane? I was like, what is happening? I did feel really sorry for him there, but it clearly was the right decision because we went on to win 4-1.
Yeah.
And we were 1-0 down as well, so that's a big call.
Yeah.
Not to put your striker on. I feel like that could have gone badly wrong, and Pochettino was like, whew, got away with that one. I don't know that he actually knew. But yeah, so he might be a big miss. I'm glad he's not out so long, because I think England need him more than anything.
Yeah.
Saying that, he doesn't really score for England, so maybe we don't.
I mean, no one scores for England, really.
England just don't score in general.
Yeah, not really. Rooney scores for England from the penalty spot, and we can't pick him, so he's not. We're just done.
Yeah.
Who's going to take penalties now?
Well, Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Harry Kane's like #1 penalty taker.
Is that the little badge his dad gave him? #1 penalty
#1 penalty taker. That's just what I've labelled
Go,
him
Harry.
as.
I believe in you.
I was slightly meaning he's just #1 for Tottenham, but then
okay.
I was also like, nah, he's best penalty taker in the world.
Yeah.
But he's really not. Fucking Liverpool result. Could have won the game with that penalty, Harry. Cheers. Cheers for missing it right when it mattered.
Do you reckon,
like to bottle it, don't you?
Do you reckon England are going to do like penalty practice? You know, like every year they come out and they're like, this year, we've got psychologists, we've done penalty every year, and then we miss a penalty and we're Dave, we've just lost a penalty shootout, mate. Like, what is going on?
I would be happy. I think I moaned about it, and then it was when Son did that stupid stutter penalty. I would be happy if you just smash it, just get it on target and just hit it hard.
Yeah.
I don't care if you miss it then. If you're like, and you put it wide, that to me is just stupid. Like, just practice getting it on target.
Well, it goes back to my whole thing of like, he's given the keeper the eyes. And I'm like, he hasn't, has he? Just hit it into the goal.
Yeah.
Stop looking at don't look at the keeper, because then you're going to kick it at him. You know, like when it used to be that thing when you're a little kid, I don't know if you ever had it, where you're riding your bike, and the thing that you look at is what you start steering towards.
Oh yeah.
So I remember there was one time I was like riding through the woods, and there was one of those like little poles that has like the way to go on the like walking route.
Yeah.
And my dad literally was like, "Don't look at it because you'll go into it." And I went straight into it, like flipped over the top. And I was like, it's burned in my brain now. And I'm like, no, if I'm a striker, I'm looking at the goal. And I'm like, look, there's the goal. Kick it in it.
I always think that whole thing about giving the keeper the eyes as well. Admittedly, this is a film. But, you know, one of my favourite films. I think it's just called United. I've actually forgotten the name of it, with David Tennant in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a bit in that when Bobby Charlton, David Tennant's given him some advice. He's like, whenever you have a chance in the box or something, just shoot. Like, it doesn't matter if you're even looking at the goal. And he's like, fans will forgive a player that takes a shot and misses, but they will get annoyed at a person that could have a chance that doesn't.
Yeah.
But then Bobby Charlton's like, how will I know like where it's going if I'm not looking at the goal? And he's like, well, if you don't know where it's going, then neither will the keeper, eh? And I'm always like, what genius idea that is? Because, screw giving the keeper the eyes, just hit it. If you're not looking at where it's going to go and you don't fully know, keeper can't judge it, can he?
That sounds like really great advice to give to like Ronaldo or Messi, where you're like, I know you're going to hit. If you gave that advice to me, I'm like kicking it out for a throw in, and I'm like, I don't know where the goal is. Like, genuinely, I know.
I mean, from a penalty, you should know roughly where the goal is. I know where it's kind of in front of you.
No, but I feel like that advice implies you've got like your back to goal or something. Do you know what I mean? It's like, just shoot, and I'm like, nah, trust me. It's way more. There's way more. He might not know where it's going, but he might not have to save it if I hit it. Like, I need to look at the goal. Anyway.
I don't think I ever used to look at the goal.
No, you'd never just close your eyes when you get through.
No, I was still obviously looking at the ball, but I'd sort of look up at the goal and be like, right, it's there, and then I'd just look down at the ball and just focus on where I'm going to hit it. Because I knew where the goal was. That didn't change. I think it's a famous Gary Lineker quote that, or no, somebody said, he was like, the goals don't move. So it's not like a famous quote, like written in scripture, but like he said it on like
up on the wall. The goals.
He said it on like a Match of the Day episode or something. It was like, the goalposts don't move, so you always know where the goal is because it doesn't move during a match. So yeah, when I used to take penalties, I didn't used to look up and look at the keeper and be like, where am I going, or do any stutter penalty rubbish. You just like you know where it is. It's right in front of you. You can see it in your peripheral vision. Like, as you're looking down towards the ball, and you're just like, right, where am I going to hit it? You don't need to let the keeper know.
I like to give like hand signals. I like to be like, I'm going to the left of the goal and I wave my arm out the window of the car. That's what I like to do. No wonder I never made it as a striker. Or any football player for that matter. In other news, Mark Hughes has become the replacement Southampton manager until the end of the season. So, what do we think about that?
Until the end of the season?
Yeah.
So, presumably just one last hope of keeping him up.
Yeah.
I imagine.
He doesn't seem like the kind of boss that you want. He's not like a Sam Allardyce where you're like, I think I can rely on you to keep us up.
Yeah.
He has never really impressed me as like a...
No.
You've got a solid like...
Admittedly, I felt kind of bad that he like left Stoke because I was liking what he was doing there, undoing all of Tony Pulis's shitty work.
Yeah, I was happy about that.
He was actually making Stoke like a good footballing team. So if he has that kind of mentality of like making a team play football, Southampton already are that team.
Yeah. That
play good football. So that might work for him in that he doesn't actually have much of a project. He can be like, oh my God, you guys already do what I've always wanted in a team.
Yeah.
And get them to play well. As you say, I never really...
That's the thing is, I think, do they need to play football right now? Or do they need to get,
they need to fight for their lives.
8 clean sheets?
Yeah.
And then be like, well, there you go. That's 8 points and we're free.
Yeah.
I don't know. I looked at some of the stats and I was like, over his Premier League record at Blackburn, he did pretty well. Then he got the Man City job. That was sort of his big break. And he did...
Oh, yeah, I forgot he went to Man City.
He did fairly well there until...
No, he didn't. He brought in Robinho for a shit ton of money, and he was like, right, there's the Messi that we've all been waiting for. That he's all I need in a team. Never mind like Adam Johnson and things that's still playing, like Stephen Ireland. Let's just put like Robinho into the team. I never understood that move. He just spent all of the money on that.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you doing?
That's fair. And then from there, it just goes downhill. It's a bit like he went to Fulham and then got sacked after a season. Went to QPR, didn't even make it a whole season. Won 20%. QPR.
Wow.
From January to November, won 20% of their games. 0.8 points a game. Not even a point
a game.
Not even a point a game. Because to me, that's almost like the like for like. I know Southampton aren't as. I was going to say as bad as QPR. I don't mean it like that, but like they've got more resources than QPR have. But I feel like they're in a comparable situation where I'm like, QPR just need to stay up. Southampton need to just stay up, and I'm like, 0.8 points ain't going to do it. Like,
no, I mean, if you were like a point a game for the whole season, that'd give you 38 points, which at this moment would possibly be enough to keep a team up.
Yeah.
So, an average of just more than that is needed, really.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I feel like he would be the perfect choice for the beginning of next season.
Yeah.
Maybe as soon as this season's over, appoint him and be like, have the whole of the summer, get working on the team, get your philosophies going, bring in who you want, and then we start the season again. But in the meantime, I can understand it because I don't know who you would really pick. Unless you're going for long term, I don't know who you would pick to manage these last 8 games or whatever it is that would be happy to just come in and do that.
Yeah. What I really would have found interesting, and it would never happen, but is for Allardyce to leave Everton because they hate him there, and for him to go to Southampton, and then for Everton to get Marco Silva like they were trying to do before, until they cocked it up, and then that would be a nice little like switch around.
Yeah.
Wherever. But
Everton need. I mean, on a different note to the Mark Hughes situation, Everton need a decent manager, because my maths is bad, right? But every time people have said the big 6, I don't know why I've always included Everton in that. I never, it took me years before I actually counted. I was like, Man United, Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham. I was like, Everton aren't in that big 6. I just assumed over the last couple of years Everton were in that because they've been there or thereabouts. They need a manager because I think that's where they should be. They should be like the 7th team breaking into the big 6.
Yeah, I mean they should, especially after the money they've spent this couple of seasons. They should. I mean, like on a side note, I don't blame Sam Allardyce for that. I blame
not at all.
The people who appointed him because they knew they were coming out of we play reasonably good football. We're trying to build something, and you know what you're getting with Sam Allardyce. Like, there's no... Every team is like, yeah, we're going to be solid at the back and we're going to play, like, long ball football, and that's it.
He was doing really well at the beginning, though, to be fair to him. He came in and it was like, right... Because he sort of... He strikes me as the kind of guy that's like, I don't care who you are. I don't care like what your name is, pretty much. If you're playing well, I'm playing you.
Yeah.
If you're not playing well, I'm dropping you, sort of thing. And I feel like that approach works when he first came in. Because there were so many people like, I should be playing football. You bought me for £50 million.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, don't care. You're not scoring goals. Get out. Sort of thing, which worked. I don't know if it's working so much anymore. I don't really understand why it didn't work for Coman. Because he did very well with Southampton, really. It's hard to match what Pochettino, I feel, did with Southampton so well, and he did it. And then I thought Everton was going to be the perfect thing for him. And then maybe these players weren't fully his buys. Maybe the board were a bit like, we're going to bring in all these people so that you can push on to the next level. And he's kind of like, yeah, okay. Bit unsure about that guy, though. So I think I don't know if they're fully his choices.
It seemed a bit weird because they sort of implied that they were like, we're building like for the future here, and then they gave him 6 months and were like, nah, you're done.
Yeah.
So it sort of felt like it was a bit of a, that was the thing I thought about picking Sam, is they were like, we're building for the future, but also make sure we don't go down, Sam. And you're like, that's not how you do that.
Yeah. In a nice...
You look at Burnley and you're like, they've built for the future.
Oh, yeah.
And not gone down.
Sean Dyche, actually, he'd be interesting.
Like
somewhere.
a magic combination.
Yeah.
Sean Dyche
in a nice roundup and conclusion to the general news segment.
Yes.
Linking back to where we started. If we finish with Everton, we'll link it back to the Tottenham situation in terms of not buying trophies. Everton have shown that you can spend that money and it's still not really work.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like the 2013 Tottenham when we sold Gareth Bale, like they sold Lukaku, and then bought a shit ton of players and then just haven't worked out.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they didn't look at our little template of how to do that. And we're like, that didn't work.
Yeah.
Look at who's still there, Lamella and Ericsson. Like, that's it. So I kind of like that they've done the same as we've done, because I feel like Everton are just us, but a couple of years behind. Given that they had Ronald Koeman as well. That's why I was like, oh yeah, they just do what we've done. They bring in Koeman, like Southampton did, and like we did. And I thought they were going to push on. So yeah, they are proof that spending all that money doesn't necessarily work. So yeah, rounded it back to the Tottenham segment earlier, where Pochettino's discussing that you can't just buy trophies, and it's more important to develop the team. That sounds good reason when you look at what Everton have done this season.
Yeah, I think that is completely fair. Shall we make some bad predictions?
Oh, yes. It's been a while.
Let's go. So on Saturday, we've got FA Cup weekend, but we've got some Premier League games smattered in. Scattering, little Salt Bay.
Yeah, little Salt Bay,
like
dripping of some Premier League teams.
Sorry.
I should be kind of happy because Tottenham are playing in the FA Cup, but I also just want to see. Actually, no, I'm going to prefer the FA Cup now to the league. Maybe we'll just stop watching Tottenham in the league and I'll start watching like the FA Cup games instead.
Well, you only have one to watch, wouldn't you? Save your time. Ooh, boy. Okay, Bournemouth, West Brom, Premier League. This is.
Yes.
What do you think? I think Bournemouth will win handsomely because West Brom are very bad.
Absolutely shocking. I mean, Livermore's just been called up, so maybe he'll have a bit like, let's go play, lads. Yeah,
let's go.
I can imagine him walking into the dressing room like tomorrow and being like, "Move out of the way, lads. Get ready for the England international."
Yeah, like Daniel Sturridge is there on crutches. Like, I used to play for England once back in my day.
Oh, Daniel Sturridge, he wasn't even in with a shout.
He was injured, wasn't he?
Oh, I suppose, yeah. But even then, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, what would your actual score be? Or you said handsomely. I don't know what that means.
I'll go 3-0. 3-0. I sounded more sure the second time, so I thought I'd go 3-0.
I would also say 3-0, but just to be different, I'll say like 3-1. Might give West Brom a goal.
3-0 and 3-1. Okay. Huddersfield, Crystal Palace.
Oh, my boy Zaha, he's nearly back.
He's nearly back. It's like the two things you can rely on in this podcast is naming Zaha and having a go at Belgium.
I'm glad
staples
that what you can't always
podcast.
say is I have a go at Musa Sissoko. I feel like that's been like every other episode.
Yeah,
not enough.
You faded off of that recently.
Yeah, whereas Belgium and Wilfried Zaha feature in every episode.
Yeah, they do. What are you going for? With your boy Zaha?
I don't know. Huddersfield are doing quite well. Doing better than Crystal Palace are. They're a nice footballing team. 2-0 Huddersfield.
2-0 Huddersfield. I'm going to go for 1-1.
Oh, okay.
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. It's a surprise. I can feel Crystal Palace
coming in the air tonight.
Yeah, also that. But I can feel like Crystal Palace have been close in a couple of games recently to getting a result, and I feel like it's about time they get a point at least. I feel bad for them. Then we've got Stoke Everton.
Yeah, I mean the two teams we were just briefly discussing there. That's a tough one.
I think Stoke will win. I think, but
Do you?
I think not much. Like what 1-0, 2-1, something like that. I think Shaqiri's been in good form for Stoke.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone's been in good form for Everton. I think if anyone in their team had been playing well, it'd be, oh yeah, Everton have got too much for them.
Yeah.
But I can't think of an Everton player that's had a good game in the last 6 weeks. So it's a little sparse.
Even though you say that and I respect your opinion, I'm
Yes.
going to say 2-2.
Wow, disrespecting my opinion. I see how it is.
I know.
Liverpool-Watford. Liverpool at home, so
Yeah,
I'm going for 5-1.
I mean, I thought Watford were going to have a difficult game against you, and they just...
Didn't have any cojones.
Yeah, didn't have any cojones.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wouldn't put it past a 3-0 result there
3-0.
to Liverpool.
Then on the in the FA Cup on Saturday, we've got Swansea Tottenham with the early kickoff. Big game. What are your thoughts?
Do I go with what I want the score to be, or what I think is going to happen? I could see. We beat them 2-0 early on in the season at the Liberty Stadium.
Without Danny Carvajal.
Yeah. This is true. He's already compared to this as like the David Goliath battle.
Oh, he's setting it up good, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I like him.
Building some background to it,
You know when everyone loved Ranieri because he was like dilly ding dilly dong or something, something weird. And at that point of the season, I was hating him because I was like, just shut up, Ranieri. Let Tottenham win the league, please. But anyway, yeah, I feel like he is like the equivalent of that for me now. I'm like, Danny Carvajal. It's so funny.
If it helps, I'm going to go for Tottenham 2-1. I think.
Do you know what? I would say that.
Very, very close as well. I could see a last minute scrambled goal or something.
I feel like Eriksen will score a long range good goal. I could see them scoring first. I want to say Klukas. I don't know where I've just pulled that out from.
Klukas just scored for him.
I feel like something just came down and descended to me.
God send it.
I don't even know who plays for them, or if he plays for them anyway. I know who plays for them. But Klukas came out somewhere. I think that could be a goal for them.
Inspired.
Maybe from a corner.
Oh, you're getting a bit too much detail now. Leave it at Klukas.
Okay, Klukas and Eriksen goal.
Okay.
I feel, and probably Heung-min Son. I'm not sure which way round the Eriksen and Son will happen, but I think those will be the two. But I would agree with you 2-1. I think it could be close.
Okay. Man United Brighton. Having lost midweek, I think Man United will make up for it.
Yeah, I could see a 3-4-0, kind of a hammering.
Yeah, I'll go 3-1. Should be different.
Yeah, I could see also being 2-0. But that's
You've named a lot of scores here. How would you?
That's why I hate this part of the show, because it could realistically be any score. All of this is just futile.
Yeah, it's sort of the point of the predictions, isn't it? It literally could be anything. Super 6 would be really dull if there were only 2 scores you could choose from. On Sunday, then, we've got the other two. Clearly can't do maths, can I?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's a quarterfinal because they have 2 teams each.
There's 2 teams, yeah.
On Sunday, we have the other 2 FA Cup games. Wigan, Southampton. Wigan, the underdogs. But
Well, technically,
result.
but yeah, I mean they shocked Man City, didn't they? Which I think I might have seen coming because I did. I think I'm pretty sure I still said Man City to win, but I did briefly mention the fact that Wigan beat Man City in the 2013 FA Cup final.
I'd like to say that Wigan would do well, but I have no faith in them. I'm going Southampton 2-0. I can't see it personally. But I'd love to see them win it. I just don't think they will.
So I could, win the FA Cup?
Win this game.
Oh, win this game.
I'm not going as far as the FA Cup. and not sticking my neck out.
Do you know what? I could see another 1-0.
Another one
to Wigan.
I mean, if they're going to win, it's probably not going to be a big win.
I can't see him scoring. Yeah, I can't see him scoring multiple goals, and because I want to say they'll win because I feel like they can win, but the only win I can see them getting is 1-0, because I can't see them scoring 2 to be like 2-0 or 2-1.
Yeah.
And the only way of winning with 1 goal is it to be 0. But I could easily see Southampton not scoring as well. So, yeah, I feel like 1-0. But I could equally see that being like 3-1 to Southampton. So
Leicester,
or
Chelsea.
2-1 or like 2-0.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just going to cover all angles.
Leicester, Chelsea, thoughts?
Well, I really want Leicester to win.
Okay.
Which is unusual. Whether they will? Chelsea are on a bit of a downer, aren't they? I feel like this is the game they would see through, though, to be fair. I feel like Barcelona, part of them was a bit like, we've lost this, lads. Let's just take it now. Like Conte was so unsure leading up to it.
Yeah, I think they played very defensively in a couple of games, and then more recently they've been sort of they've been trying to win the game and it's not worked out for them. But at least I feel like that's more the opposition playing well than them playing. So I feel like they'll get a result against Leicester.
Yeah, I think I could see it being 2-1 Chelsea.
I'll go 3-1 just to be different. You beat me to the 2-1.
That's going to screw your Super 6 if you have to do that. Do it by that rule.
Super 6 must be on Saturday, mustn't it? Because they must do the Premier League games and the FA Cup ones or something.
I suppose.
And then some random Championship game that I've never heard every single time.
That's why you don't win any money.
Well, I'd like to say it's not, but I also get all the other ones wrong as well.
This is very true.
So it's not exactly bulletproof. And I think that wraps up all of our predictions.
That is all of the games, that are on this weekend.
Because then next week we've got international duty.
Oh, that's even worse than FA Cup games.
So we get to watch our England boys. The
Three
Three Lions.
Jordan Henderson pass it sideways and sideways
and
sideways.
How much possession are we going to have, though? It's going to be great. Just watching us have possession.
It's going to be so nice, isn't it? In the middle of the pitch as well, not even by their box. Yeah.
It's going to be great, especially in the game against Italy. Because Italy will just sit there and defend, and we'll sit there and pass it sideways, and we'll be like, oh, this is so good for both of us. Look at your clean sheet, and look at our possession. Aren't we good? We're almost like all of the other good teams that have possession, except we don't score.
You don't do anything with it.
Love it. Well,
so can't wait for that.
That'll be fun. I'm excited. Well, that was the end of the podcast for this week.
Thank you very much for listening. Be sure to let us know down below your predictions for this week and your reactions to the World Cup squad that Gareth Southgate has included and who you would include instead. Yeah, definitely. I'd be intrigued to hear. We'll be back next week with a little roundup of our predictions, some general news and some more predictions. Yeah, and I'm sure I'll be very disappointed with the Tottenham score. Yeah, you might get to come back next week. You might get to see some Tottenham rage. Yeah, you didn't get to see the Tottenham Juventus. I kept that one very close to my chest. We've gone through 4 microphones. It's fine. All right, we'll see you next week. Bye. Bye.